You need to find things that you put yourself through. You see, with anything that you do in training or in efforts otherwise, there is a neurological adaptation that begins to happen. There's a struggle, and oftentimes it leaves you in a little bit of a haze. If you work out and it's a new stimulus, the stress of that leaves you in a little bit of a haze. If you're doing a track workout, you know, the first handful of times you do like a VO2 max effort, it really expends you in it's an insane thing. You swim for the first time. That very first time I did 10 laps, which took me an hour. It was one lap at a time. I mean, there was no structure to it. We have the footage on GoPro that Anuj shot really just about a year ago. The stress of that was so profound. It was something completely new and completely unexpected. And I remember that day I ate like 4,000 or 5,000 calories. Like I ate way more than I normally do because I had found something new to put myself through. We think in the age of social media, what people are drawn to is the body. If you look at my Instagram Explore page, it's just a bunch of fit dudes who are like beyond fit, you know? I've been like in the space of training for like 4 years now, and you just realize like there's levels to this, and all those guys are like exceptionally fit. But oftentimes when I watch their Instagram reels or their stories or whatever the content that they make, it's so incredibly boring. I mean, it doesn't pull me in at all. And one comes to realize at some point that it isn't the actual body that we're all drawn to. We are drawn to the story that that body represents. Essentially, what you're fighting for in all of your efforts is this conviction behind your eyes. And there's nothing more attractive than the story that creates the conviction behind your eyes. Literally, six-pack abs, the muscle you put on. It is good to set those goals, but that's because you cannot access conviction directly. It can only be accessed after a quest is done. And so these 3 DNFs with the Ironman, I realized, dude, it's wild. It kind of sucks, but it's perhaps the best thing that could happen to me, because you look in the mirror and you realize, oh my God, my conviction has gone up. I move different now. Genuinely, I do. This seems like an unexpected arc to be talking about inside Sinbad Trains. But for the last maybe 5 weeks now, really since Oceanside, I've been studying for Salesforce every single week. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't know why I'm doing it, man. I'm not fully sure why I'm studying Salesforce so much. It was really weird to get back into it because it was a new stimulus all over again, just like swimming had been last year. And I think I'm drawn to that. I'm drawn to these things that can stress me out in a new way, that force like these radical adaptations when they start. And learning declarative programming, coding, any sort of like jargon, technical knowledge, it's enough to fry the brain. You know, it stresses you out. And so I found myself like studying and then just needing to like rest afterwards as if I'd done a really hard workout. The first exam I studied for was Agent Force Specialist. I failed it twice, and then I finally passed it on the 3rd try. And what I came to realize from studying that exam twice, the first time I studied for it, I got like 70%, and you need a 73% to pass. So I was like, okay, that's kind of close enough. If I just study, if I'm getting 70% just in the study, hopefully, let's see if I get it. But I didn't get it. The real secret was to make sure that I got a 91% on every single practice exam. Like 6 practice exams in a row, just boom, 91%. So when I finally studied that sufficiently, I put in that many hours where the neurological adaptation was so strong, like all this terminology around AI specialist was just floating around, Agent Force Specialist was floating around in my head. I went into that exam, I think I finished it in 16 minutes and got like, close to 100%. And then the next week I went back and I got business analyst. And on that one, I got like an 82. The adaptation started happening faster. You know, even my capacity to study for this subject went up. And in fact, I went back a 3rd time today. Marketing Cloud Email Specialist, I got that again. So I've gotten 3 Salesforce certifications in the last 3 weeks, and I've been studying it for 5 weeks now. And the biggest thing is that I'd study for an hour and rest. It's no different than training. And I would say the main reason I'm doing it is to put myself through it. It's something new to put myself through. And as a result, it creates this thing that we're fighting for, which is conviction behind the eyes. To seduce the world at large, to get a result, the biggest thing you need is the conviction behind the eyes. And yet to get the conviction behind the eyes, you might as well get the muscles, get the money. You might as well do the superficial thing, because there's no other way of getting this quality in your heart outside of chasing these things that are concrete. My plan now is honestly to get 12 Salesforce certifications in total, maybe even more. Honestly, as a rebellion against everything I'm seeing online right now. You know, you see so much stuff on the internet about tariffs, inflation, the job market being bad. And I don't know what it is about my brain specifically. I just can't consume that kind of content. I just find it boring above all else. Even if it's true, why talk about it? I see it all the time in like my HOA, my townhome association circle. They have this group email. It's the weirdest, creepiest, strange email thing that I'm subscribed to. I mean, I have to be subscribed to it because it's literally like the HOA, homeowners townhome association group. If you own a home in this area, you're a part of this email group, and they're always complaining. They're like, the HOA, it went up $100. What the? Why did the HOA go up $100? I get it. Okay, it sucks that our HOA fees are going up $100 a month. Sure, but let me become the kind of guy with sufficient conviction, sufficient whatever in my life that I don't complain about such stuff. I mean, if I can change it, I will. But if something is to happen, if the world is getting more expensive every year, that's fine. Is there something I can do in my heart? Is there something I can do in the way who I am, in my inherent capacity to just become smarter or more disciplined or more hardworking or even more lucky to generate my own luck to such a sufficient capacity that I don't need to engage in these conversations about $100 a month? I'm trying really hard not to swear, It really affects my language to like not be able to drop these F-bombs all the time, but I'm kind of trying to change myself in regards to that. It is an act of faith to find things to put yourself through and to put yourself through them. You see, Iron Man in a way is the ultimate reflection of that. You put yourself through bike rides. And sure, biking, I'm finding more and more joy in it now, but it's something I still put myself through. Swimming, oh my gosh. Swimming is something I put myself through, man. I put myself through swim sessions, and I realize I'm a sincere killer because only I know the agony I put myself through with swimming over last fall. To go from a non-swimmer as a grown man to like being capable of the half Ironman distance in the swim, I know a lot of people have done it, but like to go from zero to swimmer at 32 years old is an act of insane pain tolerance, honestly. My pain tolerance is nuts because you're not breathing, dude. You're just not breathing. You're just literally catching air. You're just like planning when you're catching air. It's the weirdest thing. And then your vision is obscured. It's a very isolating, strange experience swimming. So to put yourself through that regularly, it just sucks. The point is you have to find these things that you put yourself through that hurt, that suck. And sometimes, we want to put an agenda or a meaning to things. Like, what is the point of this suffering? I'm going to put myself through this suffering, but I want a result at the end of it. Sometimes focusing on the results of an agenda completely crushes your charisma. In the Bhagavad Gita, God, Krishna, is talking to Arjun, this archer, the archetype of the archer. And he says, basically, the essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita is very related to Stoicism. It's the sake that you have access to the duty. You have access to the journey and the knowledge and the capacity for effort. You are blessed with the capacity for effort. I won't take that away from you. But what you don't have the right to is the fruits of your labor. Like, you're not guaranteed a result. So if you go into the agenda needing the result, then, that's what kills the art inside you. That's what makes you false in your character. It makes you not a nobleman. But if you go into the agenda with only priority on your effort, then that is actually liberation. Every time I do a training session, half the time I want to do it, but the other half where I don't want to and I do it, probably about 10 minutes into it, I experience liberation. Every time I need to do a piece of outreach and I don't want to and I do it, it's liberation. Every time I study, what is the agenda behind all this study? There's no agenda, actually. There's no direct agenda. It's just increasing the conviction behind the eyes. On a long enough timeline, if you operate in this way, you can't lose. That's what I find so encouraging about that. On a long enough timeline, if you stack these wins, you can't lose. It's such rarefied territory to operate like this. If the workout is on your calendar, you just get in there and do it. If something is to be done, you do it. What's more is you do it by the time it needs to be done. I see it across the board with so many things. We're starting to get our first handful of shots for river rats. I told Rolando the other day, I was like, dude, just go to a skate park and see if you can get some skateboarders boarding around and see if you can get some shots with them. Listen, anyone can tell you who's in videography, every time you go into a shoot, if you have to do a shoot with an agenda, it is an act of faith to get out into your car, go to that location, and try to find something to shoot. It's an act of faith. Half the time I sit down to edit a video together, it is an act of faith to be like, damn, I'm gonna edit this thing together. You're like, oh man. You don't know if it's gonna be good or not going into it. But if you go into that action as best you can, every single time, it creates a result. This is now week 3 of Ironman training, working towards a sub 5 hour half Ironman in Madison. The new bike has arrived. The Cervelo P105 is at my door. So it's a triathlon specific bike that I just got. I'm really excited to start riding with it. I've been riding a lot more and finding joy in that. It's been really great because my energy levels, mindset, clarity, everything is the sharpest it's ever been in like a long time. I mean, I think I was always decent, but it's like a video I said 2 videos ago. I was like an 80% guy for so long. And now I think I'm damn near 100% all the time. It's really wild to see. So it's a one note message, man. Find things you can put yourself through. Whether it's an Ironman or a job search or the act of creation or networking, whatever it is, find a mission to put yourself through and stop at nothing to at least put yourself through the process of that. Let the result be what it is. The result does not even matter. Let the result be what it is. I'm putting myself through a half Ironman and basically an additional 50 minutes of feature filmmaking. It's gonna be badass, man. It's nuts. There's so much chaos involved in that, but the arc is continuing to unfold. And for that, I'm grateful. We'll catch you next time.